everyone. I've been doing a lot of stitching lately. I find it really relaxes me. And I've started to add some Japanese Kinkoma thread to my work. It adds a little bling. It's gold, silver and shiny, all the things that make me smile. I often use Japan thread to outline shape, like I've done here for the petals in this stitched woodblock design. You can also use Japan thread to fill in shapes, like I did here to create the waves in this stitched landscape. Okay, so I thought I would demonstrate how to use this Japanese Kinkoma thread. It's also known as Japan thread. First, I thought I'd show you what exactly it is. If you look at this thread, it really is, it's like a little piece of paper, gold paper, that is twisted around these core fibers. I like to work on a backing fabric. That's going to help us hide the stitches in the back. And so what I've done is I've taken just a piece of muslin and I've stamped it with some of one of Gwen's stamps. I like to use them for the shapes, and then I basted it down onto my backing fabric. This is a stamp that I used from Gwen's collection. I think it comes in EGL 22. Since we're going to end up couching the Japan thread, you'll need a few supplies, most of which you probably already have. This is just polyester thread. Normally I would use a gold or a yellow color that would match this, but I wanted to do it in black so that you could see exactly what I was doing. You're also going to need just a short piece of some thicker thread. This is just some DMC Perle Cotton. Works well. You don't need very much of it. Need a regular embroidery needle, just what you would use, anything that will use that polyester thread. And these are upholstery needles. See how they have big eyes and they're big boys. Beeswax. This one here is one that Gwen hand poured herself. She's got them in all different kind of cute shapes, but and this is a nice size. But as you can tell, I am pretty much, I don't know if you can see that, if it's focusing, I'm pretty much beating this one up. I use it all the time. I don't, however, use it on the Japan thread itself. I do use it for all the other threads, those threads that we're going to be couching that Japan thread down with. It makes it easier for the thread to pass through the fabric, but it also makes it so that it gives it a really nice touch, feel. I also like the smell when you run it through. And it's also helpful, especially if you're using something like a floss where it has multiple strands in that make this up. I think the DMC floss, there's 6 strands that make up the floss. When you use the waxer, when I'm just going to pull it through, see how it binds those together, and it makes it much easier to put this on through your needle. So you may not need a threader if you use this. Take it and I'll rub this end through, pull that end through, then I will turn it and I will pull the other end through, and that's it. And then it's all set to be, this is all set to go to be needled up. Also, when you tie a knot with this, the knot is going to stay much better. So I've gone ahead and I've cut a piece of Japan thread that is going to fit around the object that I want to outline. I just looked at it by hand and tried to figure out how much I need, and I'm adding on an extra. Maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch extra on each side. It's better to have more than less. And how I would tackle this one here is first of all, I'm going to take my thread that I've pre-threaded. I've made a waist knot in it. And I like to do that just to keep everything a little neat. I'm just going to take 2 small stitches there to anchor my thread. And then I'm going to take my Japan thread and I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to figure out pretty much where that halfway mark is. And I'm going to take my needle up and I'm going to anchor that midway point to the top. This is called couching. And then we're going to take our needle and thread and we are just going to go down the sides and pull so we're just anchoring the Japan thread in. And we're doing it every maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. You're going to need to do it closer when you're doing the if you're doing curves. And this goes really fast. One of the things I like about it. You get a lot of bling for not too much work. Around that curve. So Japan thread is a thread that's meant to be couched. It's not meant to be pierced. So we're just taking another thread. Couching is just taking another thread to hold it down. And I'm going to come down to that point there. Okay. Then I am going to go back up to the top. Nobody's going to see my back here, so I don't care. I'm just going all the way back. And I'm going to pull that in and I'm going to go down the other side. See if I can zoom in here for you. Okay, so I'm just placing my thread and then going around it with my needle to hold it down. Now you can double up on this, on the Japan thread, and do 2 around. You could take it and you could do 1 gold and then 1 silver and then 1 gold. You could use it to fill in. There's lots of things you can do with it. I like to use it as an outline stitch, and then I'll go back and I'll fill in like I did here with the seed stitch, or you could do French knots, or you could do a satin stitch, anything you want. So I'm getting close to the end here. And I'm going to get that as close as I can. I'm going to leave these ends out here because if we did, what would happen is eventually the paper around the outside of the core would unravel and it wouldn't look good. So we're going to plunge it. So now that we've couched our metallic thread onto our design, we're going to want to bring that metallic thread to the back so you don't see those ends. So the way to do that, it's called plunging, and we're going to make us a simple tool called a noose. And all a noose is it's a piece of a thicker thread, and I'm using here a piece of DMC Perle Cotton, but you could either use a button and craft thread will do. And we're going to make a loop out of it, and I would suggest that you use a little bit of the wax on that, fold it in half on that edge, just so that it sticks those together and makes it a little bit firmer. And then we're going to thread it through our upholstery needle. we're not going to thread it all the way through. We're going to leave the tails loose. So what I have here now is a noose. And we're going to use that noose to grab those threads and pull them through. Let's see if I can. So where you want it to go down, you're going to make a hole and bring it through. You're going to twist it because you want that. We want to open up that hole to make it as big as possible. And we're going to bring it onto, and then we're going to do it again. Only this time we're going to hold the noose and we are going to grab the Japan thread like that. I'm going to pull that tight. So I made that loop there. And then you're going to need to hold the backing fabric tight. And then you're just going to wiggle it until it pops through. Okay, so now we're going to do the second tail. We're going to go in again. We're going to make a hole right next to the one we are, not the same hole, but right next to it. We're going to bring our needle down, twist it to make it as large as possible, pull it through, bring it through a second time, only this time we're going to grab the noose, pull it down, and then we're going to catch the Japan thread with the noose, hold on tight, and then we're going to twist and pull. See how easy that went in? So now that we've got it all plunged it through, we need to finish off the back. If we turn it over, we can see that we've got the thread there, the Japan thread there. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, go back to my polyester thread, and I'm just going to take a few whip stitches to hold that down. Maybe 4 or 5, I don't know, till it stays. And I'm only going through the backing fabric at this point. I am not going through my top fabric. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that shorter. I will cut that waist knot off and then this shape is done.